What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs. And although the Kansas City Chiefs have had plenty of good news this free agency, that also comes with the bad news. We're going to talk about it right after this. Ladies and gentlemen of the Chiefs Kingdom, the Kansas City Chiefs got some bad news on a couple of their own free agents late yesterday on Tuesday when it was announced by NFL Network that the Kansas City Chiefs are losing wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to the Baltimore Ravens, as they're expected to sign wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins on Wednesday when free agent signings become official to a one-year, $6 million deal. This was the first bit of bad news for the Kansas City Chiefs. This was a guy that obviously they traded for at the trade deadline this past season in hopes that he could kind of patch together their wide receiver room after losing Rashee Rice to injury and not really knowing exactly what they had yet. And Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, obviously was out for most of the season with an injury. So it was a necessary move that the Chiefs had to make, but ultimately DeAndre Hopkins' tenure with the Kansas City Chiefs was a little bit disappointing. He had less than 100 yards in the last 2 months of the regular season, or I should say the last 2 months of the season, including the playoffs. He had less than 100 total yards in all of the postseason, and it just kind of felt like all year we were saying, hey, that big D-Hop game is coming. That big DeAndre Hopkins game could happen in the playoffs. It never happened. And I think you kind of saw in real time that DeAndre Hopkins is no longer what he used to be. And this is usually how it goes with wide receivers. Once they lose it, you know it. It happens. It's very quick. It's not always so subtle. We kind of saw it with Julio Jones, after he got traded to the Titans that one year after being on the Atlanta Falcons for so long. And you just kind of knew it was over. I mean, he just wasn't the same Julio Jones anymore. I think DeAndre Hopkins, we saw the same thing. I still, don't regret the trade or anything at all. The Chiefs didn't even give up that much to get him. But obviously, after half a season, he heads to the Baltimore Ravens, where I think they were a little more desperate than the Kansas City Chiefs for wide receiver help. They see a guy that they think can help them, a veteran, while their wide receiver room is still mostly pretty young. And they see a veteran that can make contested catches, that maybe in an offense that is a little bit more run heavy, where defenses have to pay more attention to them running the football. Maybe DeAndre Hopkins can get a little bit more loose there. And maybe that offense is a better fit for him. I think DeAndre Hopkins wanted to go play in Baltimore. He wanted to play with Lamar Jackson. He wanted to play with Derrick Henry. Good for him. I would have been fine with him back in Kansas City if it was, a one-year deal similar to what he just signed, but under the expectation, hey, you're kind of like maybe wide receiver 4 or 5. And I think he probably still wanted a little bit bigger of a role than that. The Ravens can offer him that, whereas the Chiefs can. And it is what it is. But really, I'm not moved by this loss whatsoever. I'm not moved by this signing for the Baltimore Ravens. I know some people saw this and they go, oh, the Ravens are trying to get over the hump, get past the Kansas City Chiefs. They think D-Hop can help them in doing so. I just don't agree. I think D-Hop is done. I think Ravens fans will learn pretty quickly that that's the case, because I kind of knew it was over with D-Hop once he started dropping balls here in Kansas City that it felt like he caught 2 or 3 years ago. Even that wide open pass in the Super Bowl that would have kept a drive going, where it looked like the Kansas City Chiefs might be able to string together a scoring drive to get back in the game, and D-Hop dropped it. It was a wide open ball. He should have caught it. And I think that just kind of was DeAndre Hopkins' tenure with the Kansas City Chiefs in a nutshell. And then the second piece of Chiefs news that we got in regards to departing free agents, and this one I consider to be a lot more significant than DeAndre Hopkins, but Chiefs free agent safety Justin Reid agreed to a 3-year, $31.5 million deal with $22.5 million guaranteed with the New Orleans Saints. And that's according to Ian Rappaport of NFL Network as well. Now, guys, there's no other way to slice this one. This is a big loss for the Kansas City Chiefs. Justin Reid has been a big part of the Chiefs, or excuse me, the Chiefs defense for the last 2 to 3 years. This was a guy that they signed, 3 years ago to replace Tyrann Mathieu after his departure. And we know, the heartbeat that Tyrann Mathieu was to the Chiefs defense during his time. Justin Reid had big shoes to fill, and I think he came in here and he did it really well, had a lot of success. And I thought this past year might have been his best with the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a guy that has not really shown any signs of slowing down. And I look at that contract and I say to myself, I kind of wish the Kansas City Chiefs would have done this to hold on to Justin Reid, because had you done that, really, I think the only position the Chiefs would have needed to address in free agency would have been defensive line. And then again, you can roll into the draft having no major holes on your roster. But I will say the Chiefs have kind of prepared for this. They drafted Jaden Hicks last year in the third round of the NFL draft. That was someone that we knew would probably eventually take over for Justin Reid, kind of as that enforcer on the back end, if you will, because that's what Justin Reid really was. He was someone that set the tone on defense for the Chiefs. They lose a lot of experience now with Justin Reid heading elsewhere. And again, I look at that contract and think I would have loved for the Chiefs to keep Justin Reid. That's basically the same deal he signed 3 years ago when he came to the Kansas City Chiefs in free agency from the Houston Texans. But unfortunately, the Chiefs don't really have a lot of cap space right now after signing Jalen Moore and after signing Christian Fulton and Elijah Mitchell over the past few days. The Chiefs have to be under the cap by tomorrow, and they're still over the cap by a lot right now. So part of that is the Trey Smith franchise tag that's really holding them up right now. They don't have a ton of money to spend with that franchise tag on the books. But if they can get Trey Smith extended, that would certainly help. And then, of course, there's the Patrick Mahomes contract restructure mechanism in which they can open up a lot of money if they need to, which they haven't done yet. They're going to have to do something, though. Otherwise, they're not going to really be able to sign any more free agents. And now you see that they've already had to say goodbye to Justin Reid, not necessarily saying that it had anything to do with that, but still sucks to lose Justin Reid. I really grew to like him over the last few years. I think he was a really good Chief. Again, a tone setter on defense. And I think the Chiefs are going to miss him. And I definitely think they need to at least draft one safety in this upcoming NFL draft, assuming they don't sign anyone else. But guys, that's pretty much it for today as far as departing Kansas City Chiefs free agents. Two guys that, I think overall Chiefs fans appreciate their services. And, good for them for going elsewhere, finding another opportunity, getting paid. That's what these guys are out to do. And I think both of them accomplished that. And they both had, success in Kansas City. Justin Reid, obviously a lot more success than DeAndre Hopkins, who was only here for half a season. But DeAndre Hopkins came in here and helped the team that ultimately appeared in the Super Bowl. So that's all I got for this video, guys. Definitely want to hear from you down in the comments below what your thoughts are on the Kansas City Chiefs losing Justin Reid and DeAndre Hopkins. Do you guys think these moves are a big deal for the Ravens and the Saints, or are you just kind of meh? Definitely want to hear from y'all. But all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com for more. That's all I got for you guys in this one. I'll see you all in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs.